What's up, NDC? This is NDC TV, live and direct, presents Meet the Candidates. I'm your host, Sharufa, dope Web3 founder and entrepreneur, building social impact solutions here. And I'm super duper excited to be able to meet the candidates. We got the one-on-one exclusive with the 29 candidates, 3 houses. Let's just jump right into it. The polls are open. September 22nd. Get out and vote now. Use your voice, use your vote. Let's get it, NDC. So today we have with us Ant. Ant, hey, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay, great. Welcome. So we just gonna jump right into this thing, right?
Let's do it.
Let the people know, who are you and what brought you to Near?
My name is Ant Marshall. I am co-founder of the legendary Lyricist Lounge. It's a 32-year-old hip-hop institution. It started as an open mic in the 90s. Anytime you think of like early hip-hop, early 90s hip-hop New York, people kind of associated with Lyricist Lounge. We were a space really just kind of helping artists get signed, kind of go from the underground to the mainstream. And we've kind of continued with that concept in several different ways. Now, we are more focused on Web3, going down the rabbit hole and figuring out how to onboard the entire hip hop community to Web3. What brings me to NDC, my boy Russ, Big Russ, shout out to him. Watching what he's been doing within the ecosystem as the community engagement person, and just hearing him be really just like a passionate enthusiast around it, has always just kind of inspired me. And then I really love kind of what NDC is standing for. When I think of like really being passionate about allowing the community to kind of take the lead, to kind of take direction, to manage direction. I just think that's a beautiful thing. I think a lot of people talk it, but they don't walk it. So that's why I'm here.
Dope. That's amazing. And thinking about the power of the community, right? And this whole new V1 of decentralized governance, right? Coming up. So,
yes.
In that spirit, do you truly believe that decentralized governance is possible?
Lord have mercy. So, I think we're all still figuring it out, right? So that answer is yet to be known because this is an experiment and we're all figuring it out. But I do think that I think it's a marriage. I think it's a relationship between a decentralized system, but in some cases, a centralized process, right? We're talking about a government. We're talking about voting 29 bodies into office. In a sense, that's going to become a centralized part of the process, right? Where these 29 people, it's not the entire community, governing. It's really these 29 people on behalf of. So in a sense, it's a little bit of both. It's a quasi relationship between centralization and decentralization, and it really represents the transitional period that we're in.
Yeah, I love that because it's a very realist approach, right, to where we are right now and thinking about the bridge that we're forming between Web 2 and Web 3, right? So,
Absolutely.
let the people know, what are you running for and why are you running for that?
I'm running for the Council of Advisors. Why? I feel like there's a lot that I can advise the ecosystem that will allow it to kind of see beyond the borders that it is thinking within. In a lot of ways, our ecosystem, as much as the entire kind of Web3 community or Web3 industry, is going through kind of a challenge of or a debate of whether this is like a builder's community or if this is a creative community. Like, which one is it? Which, or, and it's really not or, it's and, right? It's really we're parallel path building two different things. We're building community, right? Community has been said a zillion times ever since Web3 is launched. And then we're building the tech. The challenge is community builds a lot quicker, grows a lot quicker than the tech, and so sometimes the tech community can feel like, oh, we're not ready for that big onslaught of following yet because we don't have that thing built. But the truth is there needs to be a marriage between, creators and builders, because they're both builders. They're just builders in different ways.
I agree 1,000%. I think that, the term builders, right? It's inclusive to everyone, right?
Right.
And when we're thinking about this ecosystem, right, of inclusivity, what do you think, you being in this position, how are you able to ensure that there will be an equal opportunity for everyone to be able to participate in the ecosystem?
Well, just me being at the table and being within governance is a starting point. Just me or anyone who has the experience I have, but also looks like me and represents people who look like me. I think diversity is important, and not just from an ethnicity standpoint. Culturally, I kind of sent this out in a number of groups on Telegram to the community. Like, that's really what I want to do. I want to create a lot more diversity in thought, in terms of how we build this thing, in terms of how we scale this thing. It's not just going to scale on the tech alone. It's going to scale on the foundation of tech, but what's going to scale it is culture. So how do we create a clear relationship between the two and stop playing the either or game? The truth is there's going to be a lot of people that show up within the near ecosystem that don't find a home. And once they don't find a home, they're going to move on. Now, it's going to cost you to find them again later on. But I think what's smart is that, again, we find ways we find ways and companies and ideas and things that hold them once they get here. So shout out to Proof of Vibes. We're building something really special with that. We're building, really a loyalty rewards program for tastemakers, promoters. We're creating a simple way, almost like POAP, to onboard people, but then also keep them there by having a redeem section where they can redeem for cool clothing, cool, upgraded event experiences, you name it. And all of this is on chain. So, if you know me, if you know Russ, what we're pushing for is really scaling. You may think it's just vibes. You may think it's just partying. You may think it's just hip hop. You may think we're representing a community of people that are not fit to build on there. But I will tell you right now, you're wrong. And if that's your perspective, you're assumed to fail, because scaling is about culture. And now what we need is good tech to rest upon that. So that's what I'm here to do.
I love that. Scaling is about culture. And that goes right into what I wanted to talk about next, right? And thinking about the future that you're already tapped into, right, for the ecosystem. You being in this position, how do you plan to be able to assist the ecosystem to scale?
So tech is about code, and code is about language. And again, the missing language that folks don't understand, it's missing on both sides, right? Like from a cultural standpoint, what's missing is the knowledge and understanding and of code language, of zeros and ones, of how to build an app, how to build on Boss, etc. And we'll do that. We'll onboard those creators by having hackathons, by training them, etc. But there's another thing going on the flip side of that, right? To all my zeros and one builders and coders out there, there's a language you don't understand, and that is cultural language. And so what we need to do with you on your side is also onboard you to cultural understandings, and not just hip hop, right? You see my hat backwards. You may be assuming I'm just talking about hip hop. I'm really talking about all cultures. I'm talking about musical cultures. I'm talking about fashion cultures. I'm talking about food cultures. And that's why I just formed Culture DAO to be one of the leading constellations in the ecosystem, to really help to educate, incubate and accelerate a lot of these cultural projects that will be the things that onboard the millions and billions that we need to keep the treasury going, y'all. Like, this is business. This is business. This is not just play time in the sandbox, right? If we want the near ecosystem to win, there are VCs, there are investors that are looking at our movements, and they're trying to see if we actually know what we're doing, right? And so it's about building great product, but it's about scaling the community and giving them what they want. If you're a true builder, you got to listen to the community. You have to do tests. We're the tests. We're the tests. Web3, like we're the focus groups, and are you listening? to what the people are saying. So that's what I bring to the table. I bring to the table a clear understanding after 30 something years of being in the industry, after launching the Lyricist Lounge show from a little open mic to MTV, to working with Al Gore, launching Current TV as one of the first social media television platforms. Look it up in '05. You know, I bring a lot of understanding of both the cultural world and the tech world, and how they can kind of be married and work together to scale. So that's really what I want to do. Sharufa, thank you so much. I know, we're getting down to some of those. I don't know if you have more questions. I'm down to answer.
Of course I have more. Don't try
I
to
don't
wrap
want
it.
to take up. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you're a busy
No,
woman.
we're keeping this thing going because culture is code, right?
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
stole that from you. But it's important, right?
Yeah.
When you're thinking about the vision that you have for the scalability of the ecosystem. And one of the key things that I heard you talk about was the marriage, right? The marriage that needs to exist on both sides, on the culture side and on the tech side, and thinking about the resources, right? From a fiduciary responsibility, right?
Mhm.
Like thinking about this treasury. And for you, what are your thoughts in regards to how to be able to cost effectively utilize the treasury in a way that's going to be able to benefit the ecosystem at large?
I think we look, and that's a beautiful question. Thank you for that. I think we have to look at the treasury, the current treasury, whether it's the smaller amount that we may be getting or the potential larger amount that may drop upon us. If you know, you know. I think we have to look at it as this is all we will ever have, right? Let's think of it like near, and I don't want to, but let's say near falls apart, or the financial structure of near as a coin doesn't work to everyone's advantage. Let's say the current treasury dollars, let's say we transition that from there to USD or whatever number. The fact of the matter is, if that's all we had to work with, what would we do? And I think it's important not to put all our eggs in one basket. And so I think the way I would look at it is really develop a system where we have a clear amount that's towards tech, because we need to build great tech. And that may be the larger amount of it all, right? Because it needs to be built on something solid. Then I would probably have another percentage set aside for just community growth, which can happen very quickly. And we need simple ways to keep that community happy, motivated, and involved. And then I would look at some very structural investments. You know what I mean? Very structural, like real estate, things that I know are going to do well for us regardless of where we are. When you look at a company like Starbucks, they're not selling coffee. Their true business is really real estate. They're one of the largest real estate owners in the world. It's not just about coffee. So, we have to diversify. Again, this is business. We have to diversify how we're investing our dollars, so that we can become a true self-sufficient ecosystem and not just kind of constantly relying upon their foundation and hoping that they have some more money to give us. We need to truly kind of walk our own, walk our own walk.
Yeah, that's that OG business language, right?
We just, you want to be around?
Exactly. Like you're
Okay.
thinking about the true blueprint, right? That the ecosystem needs. And I love that emphasis on real world assets, right? Like real estate, right? Knowing that I'm building in the realty industry on the continent. So shout out Senegal.
Absolutely.
So in thinking about let's go fast forward, right? The polls close on the 22nd. You get the seat, right? You're in the seat, you're in the council of advisors, right? Now,
Hmm.
that's right. Tighten it up, tighten it up.
I'm ready.
6 months from now, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that this V1 governance is 6 months.
Yeah.
What do you feel like success would look like for you being a part of this inaugural group? What do you hope to accomplish? What do you look back and say, like, damn, yeah, this feels good, this feels right? And thinking about all of those things we just chatted about the future.
Absolutely. I think it's about programs. I'm big on programs. Like, let's think through programs that we can create, develop, that can kind of last beyond my 6 months. What kind of structural systems can I pass over to the next body that's going to be running it. I think that's one important thing, because when we talk about governance, it's easy to get lost in what that means, but truly we're talking about systems, from A to Z, no matter what it is. If we're talking about the tech sector of our ecosystem, or the creatives, or beyond that, what are the mechanisms in place, one, for them to get funding, right? Because truly, NDC was created so that it can create a different way of funding the community. Funding the community through one little division within the NAIR Foundation, I think, was pretty hard to do. And so this was a larger, scalable way to fund the community. And so, yes, so systems internally, so we know we're moving and grooving the right way internally. Two, reassuring the community that we're back in business in terms of funding, but also not just funding frivolously, right? Like, we're funding with purpose. We're funding with great expectations, but we're also funding as a way to stimulate the community. I think we're in kind of the NAIR 2.0 going into the 3.0 generation of NAIR, and first generation kind of had their day and moved on. Second generation is kind of trying to pull that first generation back, but third generation could mean something totally new. And it's really up to us on what that is. But what I mean is, to assure funding in the proper way is what's going to bring part of what will bring the community back, and have them feeling like, okay, cool, we're back to work. We're back to work, because people need it. People need funding. This thing is not going to be built off of hopes and dreams and troll energy, which is important to talk about too. I know it's not completely part of the question, but it's like, I think a big part of what I want to bring to the table, y'all, is just some balanced energy. There's a lot of troll energy going on within, there's so much drama in the NDC. It's kind of hard being, it's like, it can be a big distraction. And I just think it's about less drama, more work. I've been saying that a couple times. Less drama, more work, helping people understand that culture is cold, and then just building a really good bridge between the entertainment world and Web3.
I love that, because so many people, a lot of candidates have come on the show and talked about wanting to be able to set in place a foundation, some aspect of infrastructure for the next body of governance that comes after V1, right? So what's so beautiful in that is that you're thinking beyond yourself. You're thinking a part of the community, right? Because you know that this is bigger than just you and I. This is the collective, right? So I think that's, super duper dope. Shout out to you. So
Yes.
Let's wind this thing down. You got one opportunity to let the folks know, let the voters know that are headed to the polls now. Like, why you? Why you right now in these last moments? Let the people know.
Okay. I think if you're not convinced by what I already said, I think what's important is to just know that I'm a good-hearted person. I'm very balanced. I'm very focused on, A to Z type approaches, meaning, again, process, less about talk, even though I'm open to it, right? There's a time and place for conversation. There's a time and place for grievances, right? But that at a certain point, grievances can turn into bully culture and just talk. You know what I mean? So if you're going to talk, come with some solutions too. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it's just about getting you all to understand that, like, I'm a good person. I'm here to work. I'm also here to be really realistic. I think a lot of us in the ecosystem have a very blurred sense of globally, what different people are going through. I've had the opportunity to live in different parts of the world, to travel in different parts of the world, to go from the streets to the suites and back again. And I bring a lot of information. Like, this world of Web3 is about data. I bring a lot of data to the table that can help us through a lot of, potentially difficult kind of decisions we need to make. So yeah, that's it. if you want to do it, no push. I ain't breaking nobody's arm. If you don't, that's your loss. But definitely vote for me. I'm looking to make change in the ecosystem. Again, enough with the troll culture. Less drama, more work. Culture is code. A clear bridge between the creatives and the builders and the tech heads, and really just more partnerships, and great products that work, that can really speak to scalability within the ecosystem. If you don't vote for that, then I don't know what you're voting for. But check me out online. I'm here.
And let the people know your handle.
It's just Amp Marshall everywhere on the within the Nair ecosystem is at Amp Marshall 360 because I'm everywhere. .near.
Awesome. I love the pragmatic data, right? Like open end if you want to be able to tap into that pragmatic data.
I'm
Best
just
of luck to you.
thank you,
Congratulations again.
thank you,
Putting your name in the hat. So
thank
get out and vote September 22nd. Use your voice, use your vote. The time is now. The days are winding down.
you. Let's go,
Indeed.
people. Let's go.
All right, y'all. So we'll check you later. Thanks so much, Ann, for
Thank
stopping
you.
by.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
bye.